I'm just leaving one of my Airbnbs, just come down for an inspection. We've got long-term guests in there at the moment. They booked 68 nights. They paid this much. You don't need that many properties to become financially free and replace the average income. I genuinely thought you needed loads of properties at the start, like 20, 30, to replace some sort of income, but you genuinely don't. One property, one truly optimized property would probably cash flow conservatively £1,000 a month net profit. Yeah, this one does very well, as you can see from the bookings. This is just one of my properties, and I've done so many rent-to-rent deals now. And I think it's important for you guys to not look at me as a mentor. What you want to do is look at my actual results, right? And my students, their results. Then you'll know whether this business model suits you. I don't know about you guys, and I don't know how you guys, some of you even fall for it. You're buying into the lifestyle of the mentor. It really confuses me. That's your mentor's kind of results, and are they genuine? Anyone can hire a Lamborghini, anyone can fly to Dubai and film a load of content, anyone can stand outside a property and say it's theirs. I think this day and age we live in, absolute trust needs to be built. Or maybe that's just my audience. You guys need to severely trust me before you join my mentorship. Because whenever somebody's onboarding the mentorship, it comes across like we're best mates. You know me very well and I have no idea who you are. It's quite funny. But let me walk you through, right, the first 90 days of starting Rent2Rent, the actual map. What does it look like from a complete beginner? Okay, so day 0. What's your first tasks? Right, so what I do is I give my students a compliance checklist. Okay, so exactly what to go out and do in order. And that is go to company's house and set up your limited company. Right, this would take you about 45 minutes. This, as of recording right now, to set up a limited company is £100. When I started, it was £16. Or was it 12? No, it was £12. Shortly after me doing it, it went to 16. But now it's £100, guys. So they're just increasing the cost of everything. The longer you wait, the more expensive it will cost to get started. So don't wait. £100. Anyway, then you're going to go to the PRS and ICO and buy the relevant compliances. Then you're going to set up an email domain and a website all around your business and what you do. Right, so that's the basics of compliance. You sort out insurance when you actually get a property. Okay, there's no point buying insurance if you have nothing to insure. It's a bit like a car. You only get car insurance when you absolutely know you're getting the car or you've got it. You don't buy car insurance for something you might buy. Same with Rent2Rent. When you actually know you're getting the property, you then get the insurance, okay? So that's kind of day 0. So first tasks that you need to do. That might take some people 3 days, 2-3 days. But I'd expect people to get that done in the first week. Okay, so that's the first week tasks, even though you can do it within 2 days if you really wanted to. Then the excitement starts to wear off, okay, because everything's been exciting and kind of motivational up until this point. You've watched a lot of Rent2Rent content, you're excited about the business model and the income it can generate, you're excited about building a website, setting up your own limited company, getting a certificate through the door, you might even frame it. That's all exciting because it's new. Now what happens next is all of that excitement is now gone. This is where quite a lot of people stall. And this is the phone calls. You're literally ready now to start building your business. You haven't built anything. You start laying the first brick when you start having conversations with estate agents and landlords. Nothing is built without conversations. And this is where a lot of people stall. The kind of excitement is now gone. Like now the real work begins. I have to pick up the phone. You want to see me on my very, very first estate agent phone call, looking about 13 years old. Look at this. I've probably been sat here for a good 10 minutes, staring at this phone number that I need to ring, but it's my first call ever to an agent regarding Rent2Rent. My heart rate's up, I'm nervous. If you want to watch that full video, then just go to my YouTube. You're on my YouTube. Just go to my oldest video, and that's the oldest video, right? Watch that. That's how I felt at the beginning. I've done many rent-to-rent deals. I started with zero experience. Did I have imposter syndrome? Yeah, you could say that. What I was doing was trusting the process. I was just doing the work, hoping it would work. Trusting the process. Not really wearing imposter syndrome cloak or whatever, you know. I was just trusting the process. And that's what you guys need to do next, is to pick up the phone and have conversations with estate agents. And exactly what you need to say is quite simple, is I'm looking at this property on X street. Is it still available, please? Yes, it is. Awesome. Just curious, would the landlord be open to a company let on this one? No, I'm afraid they won't be. Okay, no worries at all. Whilst I got you on the phone, do you have any other landlords which might be open to a company let? And quite often, viewings come from that second question, okay? I don't care about the property I call up against. To me, it's completely irrelevant. And what a lot of newbies are doing are trying to find the perfect property on Rightmove before they even make a phone call. What if they spend weeks and then they find the perfect looking rent-to-rent deal, and then they call the estate agent? Oh no, the landlord's not open to company let at all. Not in the slightest. How much time have you just wasted? You have to go with an open hands, like, do you have anything suitable for company let? And then yes or no. That's working with estate agents, okay? That's a numbers game. Across 90 days, I made 244 phone calls, which equates to 4.5 calls a day per working day, okay? So keep an eye on your average. Make sure it's high-ish, not one phone call a day on average. Why am I sat here squinting? No. Okay, so that's it. You have to start phone calls, guys. Don't start a rent-to-rent business if you're not going to have phone calls. What you also can do, if you really don't want to have the phone calls, even though I deem them exceptionally important to this business model, is using OpenRent, Facebook Marketplace, Gumtree to get direct to landlords, okay? And then just don't pitch them. Don't be like, oh, I can rent your property long-term, guaranteed rent, blah, 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 blah. You sound like every other Tom, Dick and Harry who haven't been trained. What you want to do is treat it like a discovery phase. See if they're a struggling landlord. They might not even be a struggling landlord. They just might not want to rent to tenants. Many of the landlords I still work with, don't want to rent to families or tenants because they're fed up with them. Or they're fed up with the regulation changes because they're renting to families and tenants. So renting to a business is different. It's secure. It's more guaranteed. And they love it. The right landlord will love it. Trust me, I know. That is the second week, is get on the phones. Take a week of messy action. 10 phone calls a day, messy action. Be prepared that every phone call will fail. Right? Who cares? If they ask you a question you don't know, just palm it off with this. Thanks for your question. What I'll do after this phone call is I'll send you an email, and that will tell you a bit about more exactly what we do. All right? Don't stumble. You don't want to stumble. So if they say, who's renting the property? How many people are going to be renting the property? You just say this is a company let, so it's not me living there. What I'll do is I'll send you an email afterwards, a bit more information on exactly what we do. Done. Okay. And then if they ask you another question, it depends if you know it or not. If you don't know it, just repeat that. Yeah, everything will become clear once I send you the email. So week 2, messy action phone calls. Week 3, these are now still phone calls, okay? Phone calls, but by the end of week 3, you will have your first rent-to-rent viewing booked in if you follow this process. 10 phone calls a day or 10 emails a day. You got to be careful with OpenRent in case you get shadow banned, but that's a topic for another video. But by the end of this week, following that script, you will have your very first rent-to-rent viewing booked in. Go for the viewing, take a video of the viewing on 0.5 zoom and walk around slowly. Don't be all excited and walk around and not get a clear video, because if and when they accept your offer, you'll be watching that video back and you'll be so annoyed at yourself that you didn't get a slow walk around video. That is one of the most important things about viewings. a slow walk around video. Then go home, do your due diligence. You need to do your due diligence. And again, that's a whole nother topic for a whole in-depth video. But if it's Airbnb, you need to find comparables. If it's HMO, you need to run the spare room check, the demand test. Okay? If it's for social housing, you should have your social housing provider on board with the current requirement. If it's deal sourcing, you should have an investor list or be part of a serious network which are willing to buy deals. Or if you're my student, I'm connected, right? We will sell the deal. You don't have to be building an investor list. But the whole point is, the end of that viewing is you need to make an offer as soon as possible, guys. Speed is absolutely key. What I aim to do is the day of viewing is the day I will make an offer, but I can move fast. But even when I was a student, I was making offers the same day. I'd be up till 1 a.m., 2 a.m. stacking these deals, watching my training on how to do the due diligence and then implement it, okay? And implement due diligence checks before you go on the viewing. Go as prepared as absolute possible. You don't want to be wasting anybody's time, but you also have to beat your competitors. You have to come in with the mindset of, I will be the absolute best person, best entrepreneur, best business partner, best rent-to-rent operator I can absolutely be, and be that person. Don't be a dabbler, don't be a toe dipper. You won't succeed. You just annoy people, or you'll take on properties that you didn't really do the full due diligence on, and then it will flop. My best advice for newcomers to the market is go in with your absolute best offer to start with. Maybe leave 50 quid wriggle room if the landlord really pushes, because you want to come across someone that you're not trying to be cheeky. You know, you're up against established people in the network, in the game, in the rent-to-rent space. Agents can just go to them. So you have to give the impression to the estate agent or landlord. It's like, look, I'll view your property, I'll make an offer the same day, and it will be my best and final offer. I was literally telling estate agents this when I was new. Like, yeah, I'm gonna go home now, I'll stack the deals, and I will submit my absolute best offer. Even if it doesn't quite reach what the landlord's wanting, I will send you my absolute best offer that I can do. And if you choose to pass it to them or not, that's up to you. But I set the expectation that this is the best you will get from me. So when they're talking to the landlord, they can say, look, I've spoken with Kenny, this is his absolute best. And to be fair, we've worked with Kenny for 3 years now. Every single property that he offers on is his absolute max. So you have to get the estate agents to kind of be on board with you and the way you work. You can only do that from the very beginning. If you submit an offer and it's £300 below what you know you could actually go to still make profit, and then eventually you creep up £300, then the estate agent isn't really going to trust your offers going forward. So stick to the minimum profit margin that you're happy with, such as £700 profit a month, and make an offer based on that every single time until you're in a position that you're like, yeah, I can't be bothered to take on another deal. Or I'm working on such big things now that I don't want another deal. So do it until you can afford to be fussy. But at the start, I always say beggars can't be choosers. So once you've made an offer, what happens then? Guess what goes into week 4? Rinse and repeat. Week 5, rinse and repeat. Week 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and so on. That's it. You just have to master the first 3 weeks, and then you've mastered the whole rent-to-rent game. Then it just comes down to experience being an operator, whether that's HMO, service accommodation, deal sourcing. In terms of business models, this has to be one of the easiest business models going, but psychologically, it's probably mammoth, because most people that start this are workers, right? They've been workers all their life. So they're trying to step into an entrepreneurship role, and they've got their brain trying to shut them down. Like, who do you think you are? You know, you've got no experience. Here's imposter syndrome. You better wear that. You know, are you sure you want to make that phone call? We're not a rent-to-rent operator. We don't have a rent-to-rent business. You have to tell your brain to shut them up. Do the work anyway, because this process works. It works so much so, but I had just one example. One of my old rent-to-rent HMOs that I had for 3 years, I never missed a payment. This property looked horrible before I took it on. It looked amazing once we finished the refurb. And I paid rent on time, every time. Never gave the landlord any hassle at all. And the term just come to an end. The landlord wanted more money. I said no, because I was on minimum profit margins anyway, of £640 a month of profit. It went back to the student market for 1 year, okay? And then it came back to open to company lets. Did the estate agent reach out to me and say, Kenny, your old property, you know, you were great with the rental payments, never had any hassle, built a solid relationship with the estate agent. They must have had new people working in the offices when this come back. This is my only kind of take on it, is a good estate agency business would understand their customers, both sides, company lets and landlords, and realise that this property used to be run by a very competent rent-to-renter who has many properties. Why don't we reach out to him and see if he wants it back? Did they? No. It went to a completely new, brand new rent-to-renter who is in fact my student, Ollie. And I went back to this property to visit. And this is me back in my old rent-to-rent property. That tells me, and that should show you guys, that someone who's completely new to this game, zero money in the business account, zero experience with estate agents and landlords or managing properties altogether. Ollie had no experience, okay? He got that property over me. So, yes, you can absolutely do it. All you have to do is rinse and repeat that process. Don't get me wrong, I've kept it quite top level. I haven't gone to town on the detail and the steps, but that's the steps in a nutshell. Okay, business compliance, taking messy action. Make sure you're doing your due diligence before making an offer. Then make an offer, your best and final offer. Beggars can't be choosers. And then rinse and repeat that whole process until you get a deal. That's it. A lot of people think, oh, I've made 5 offers, I haven't got a deal yet, I must be doing something wrong. And then they change something, or they do something differently. Yeah, and then in the end, they just get a bit fed up and then think to themselves, oh, I know this area, I know I can make this work. And then they take the property on. It's the biggest mistake you'll ever make if you do that, because they will fail, and they do fail. I see it all the time in my DMs from people that have taken that strategy, as opposed to investing in themselves into proper training and following the proper process consistently until they get a deal. So be that person, don't be the previous person, because you will fail. You might think you're getting a deal and it works, but I tell you now, it will flop. That's it, guys. I hope this has been helpful. Just the first 4 weeks, but that's all you need to learn. It's the first 4 weeks, and then you can implement the rent-to-rent strategy. That's it. Love you guys to bits. See you on the next one.